All right, hey guys. In this video, I want to talk about a couple different things that this new chapter is going to present. Our new chapter is going to be on Mesoamerica, and that has to do with the area of present day Central America or Latin America. So the area of like Mexico, um, and some of the Central American countries. So we're in that area. That's Mesoamerica, or the word Meso is also meaning middle or Middle America, the area between North America and South America. So that's the area that we're going to be in next. Um, so there's one thing that the book talks about, and that's this word of anthropology. If you don't know what that word is, that's fine. I'm going to go over it a little bit. But the reason I'm doing it in this video and not going by the book is because the definition that the book has of anthropology can be very misleading. It is, I think the definition it gives is the origins of man. That is true to an extent, but that definition only touches on a very small portion of anthropology, and if you're not careful, it can be a very misleading definition. So I wanted to go over it with you and a few other terms as well. There are these things called disciplines, and that's what each of these terms are going to be, what I'm going to talk about. And a discipline is all it is a subject area that you study, or a field of study. And you'll hear those words and those terms as you get older and you go through high school and when you go through college. Like when you go to college, you'll pick a specific field of study. Like maybe it'll be biology or history, um, or political science. Those are all disciplines. Those are all subject areas or fields of study. Um, and so I'm going to go through three of these disciplines or three of these fields of study, just so that you know what these things are. The first one, of course, is anthropology. And despite what the book says, I'm going to give you the definition of anthropology. And you can find this on any website, or you can talk to an anthropologist, and this is the definition that they'll give you. But the anthropology is the study of human culture. And what you do is you are, as an anthropologist, you are identifying practices, customs, beliefs, and traditions of different people through interaction and behavior. So what that means is you are pretty much just studying the different aspects and the different details of particular culture. For example, if you wanted to go to a far-off remote village in the Philippines, or in a remote place in Russia, their culture is going to be different, very different from ours. And what an anthropologist does is that they will go and live among that culture and study their practices and their customs, their beliefs and their traditions. They do research and they study, well, what makes that culture so unique? What do they do differently? And an anthropologist is all about knowing how to interact with those people, studying their language, studying their religion, studying their behavior. Why do they do these certain things? I could give you an example, like for example, a behavior of Japanese culture. When they greet each other, they bow to each other, and that's different from our kind of cultures. When we greet people, we will say hello, or like we'll shake somebody's hands. That is a different that is a behavior that is different from other cultures around the world. And so, but basically, an anthropologist just kind of studies those different things among different cultures. And they also study how those customs, beliefs, practices, and traditions, how they develop over time, and try to figure out how these things from the past influence our culture and our societies today. The culture that we live in, it didn't just suddenly pop up out of nowhere. We are kind of a result or a sum of different cultures and different societies that have come on before us. We have adopted a lot of things of our culture from different cultures. For example, a lot of our architecture in our government buildings, a lot of that was brought over from ancient Greece and ancient Rome. But anyway, that's what anthropology is, just the study of human culture. The next discipline is archaeology, and an archaeology is actually part of anthropology. That's why I wrote it underneath anthropology. But archaeology is the study of human activity through the recovery and analysis of a culture's materials. So basically, an archaeologist, person will dig in the ground and try to find those materials or those those physical things that they have left behind after their society or culture has died out. Again, archaeology is a part of anthropology. Archaeology is a way to study a culture, but we just do it through the materials that they have left behind. And I wrote a question down here because this kind of helps you think about what archaeology is. And we've talked a little bit about it before. We did some activities in the first semester, but I kind of want you to think about this. I want you to think about, the culture that we live in, the practices, our customs, our beliefs, and our traditions that we all partake in for our society today. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about 1,000 years from now, what would scientists learn about us from the materials we left behind? Right, 1,000 years after we're all gone, there will be scientists, hopefully. There will be people who want to study what happened 1,000 years ago, and they can just hopefully they'll find materials that will be interesting and that will help them learn about the culture that we live in today. Just for example, maybe they'll dig up some sort of writing utensil. And they can learn about our culture from these things that we might have left behind. Maybe they'll see something. Maybe they'll dig up like a box or maybe just a match or something, and that will be a material that we have left behind, and maybe they'll dig something like that up and learn about our culture. Or maybe they'll find something like an Xbox video game system, that will be something that we leave behind, and scientists it'll be their job to figure out what that is and make different conclusions about our culture. So that's what an archaeologist does. They do a lot of time out in the field, digging up stuff and other things around that. The last one is history, and history is also kind of goes along with archaeology and anthropology. But history is the study of change in people and places. History is all about how do things change? How does government change? How do ideas change? How does religion change? And those are questions that history tries to answer. History is all about understanding how economics, culture, gender roles, religion, ideas, environment, science, and government, and etc. change over time and remain the same. I do have to stop the video in just a second, but history helps make informed decisions for the future. You think about for example, people who vote in elections, they vote for people based on what they've learned from their past. That's just one reason why history is helpful and useful. But again, history is just the understanding of how things change through time. But I do want you to really look at this, because this will probably be on a test or a quiz of some kind. But I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll pick up with another one.